Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it's that time again. I know. It just seems like yesterday that we were here for a podcast and a video cast of Talking Real Money with you. Because, you know, most of us in this audience, I know a few of you are younger, but a lot of us are old, and my goodness, time flies. Do you realize as we're doing this, Tom, it's almost May?
And it's almost time for retirement.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do something I wasn't aware of.
I'm going to look out the window, but
no,
nothing that dramatic.
Hi, everybody. I'm Don McDonald, and that strange guy in the room full of airplanes, including a Russian one.
I got to come down. I'm sorry. If I set it on fire, the whole house will go. Well, the whole room will go up very quickly.
Although, what year was that plane made? When like it was a real plane, not a model plane, but a real plane.
Like 1942. I'm not that old. 1942.
Okay, well then never mind. The Russians aren't using it anymore. It's part of the Ukrainian Air Force.
Yeah, they might be. They've had some struggles with their gear.
Take whatever you can get in this battle. We should not make light of this.
Yeah,
this is actually just awful. But we're going to try and talk about money. We're going to try and make your life a little bit better. We're going to try and help you understand the things that you should be doing and stop doing the things that you shouldn't be doing. And we try to answer all your questions at 855-935-TALK. That number works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or you can send them in at talkingrealmoney.com. Now, this is the combo cast, so you get to see us. It's video and audio, so you can go over to YouTube, check out our YouTube channel. And today we want to talk about, well, like we usually do, we want to talk about you. Yes, you. You know who you are. The stretchers, the reachers, the grabbers, the greedier members of our audience. Not abject greed, not ridiculous greed, but we've talked about this in the past. In years past, remember back in the day when we had them low single-digit interest rates? Oh, you know, when you were just a little whippersnapper, you remember those days, right? We had 2% mortgages. Remember? Oh boy, those were the days. Remember when rates were low? And what were you doing? You were bemoaning the state of the low rate, right?
Oh, bemoaning the state of the low rate?
Of the low rate, right? Yeah.
You're good, man.
Well, what were you guys trying to do? I remember the calls. Hi, Don. Hi, Tom. Yeah, I was looking at this high yield bond fund because, or this high dividend fund, or, you know, there's this longer term treasury that's paying a little bit more than the short terms that you're recommending. Those bond funds that you're recommending, Don and Tom, they're just not, they're not doing that well. Well, when you stretch for yield, there's a price to be paid, Tom.
Well, and the first quarter of this year plus a few weeks has really showed that, Don. And we'll talk about the reasons why in just a minute. But the numbers, frankly, are eye-opening. I'm trying to open my eyes. The Vanguard.
Oh my gosh, mine are wide open now.
Your eyes are wide open. The Vanguard Long-Term Treasury VLGSX year to date through the 19th of April. Down 17.8%, almost 18%, almost 1/5 of its value is gone.
Whoa. Just to put things in perspective for all of us, how much are stocks down?
You know, the global stock portfolio is only down about 5%. So it's pretty
17 for bonds.
17.8, almost 18.
18% for bonds, 5 or so for stocks. Tom, why did you tell us to use bonds?
Well, let me just give you a couple more numbers. The Dimensional Funds has an intermediate term government bond fund, DFIGX, which is down 8.6. And then the one that they're going to sacrifice me on is the Vanguard Short-Term Corporate Bond Fund, VFSTX, which I've told people to use for short-term cash needs. It's down 4.8% year to date. So it's been tough. But again, as you point out at the top of the program, for those reaching for yield, for those looking for a little more interest, it's been way tougher. Almost 1/5 of your money has gone away. And here's the questions I always get. Okay, number one, I thought bonds were the stable part of the portfolio. How can they go down? Don, how can they go down? You answer that. No, why? Don't point at me. You point at you.
Interest rates. Interest rates. When interest rates rise, bond prices fall. It's just the way it works. However, one of the reasons why we suggest those funds and ETFs that invest in short to intermediate bonds is that while they decline in value, something interesting is happening within the portfolios. Something you don't notice right away. And that is, as the bonds that they've had for the past 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years begin to mature, they mature at face value. They mature back at their full $1,000 a bond. And that new $1,000, no matter where they were over those intervening years, those new $1,000 come out and immediately get invested in new bonds. And not at the old cruddy 1% rate you used to get, but now at the new higher 2+% rates you may be getting.
So short-term pain for longer-term gain in some ways.
Well, or longer-term overall greater stability. It's not 100% stability. When rates are rapidly falling, bond prices, when rates are rapidly rising, bond prices fall very rapidly until, see, this is the nice thing about it, once they stop rising, the bond prices stop falling if you're in high quality products, because the only thing that really impacts them are interest rates, the overall interest rate climate. So unlike stocks, which have, literally unlimited downside, unlimited for all the stocks in the world to go broke, bonds have a floor, and that's when rates stop going up.
And so there may, and here's another way I look at it. Well, let me ask you another question first, because this one comes up a lot too. And I'm not going to do a silly voice task because I'm not as good at that as you are.
Don, tell me all about. Yeah,
I can only do bad politician voices and not very well. Because another question that's come up is, wait, I thought if stocks went down, bonds went up. They both can't go down.
That was close enough to silly.
All right.
Oh wait, that was your regular voice.
I know, so it's silly enough. Sorry. Yeah. I thought they couldn't both go down at the same time. Wait a minute, what's going on here?
That? Who said that? Nobody said that. Somebody did it, and a family member. I don't want to chastise them live on the podcast. So okay. Yeah. Anything can go down in value. For example, I'll give you an example of something that can go down in value that you wouldn't expect. People think you put your money in a CD at the bank. You put $100,000 in. When it matures, you take $100,000 out, right? Doesn't go down. Bonds actually don't go down. If you buy a $1,000 bond at its issuance and you hold it to maturity, you get $1,000. You get it back. But that same CD, let's say you bought a 5-year CD at 2.5% a few years ago, and you want to get out of that CD. You want to sell it to somebody else. The bank won't give you your money back. They're going to give you your money back less a penalty. You decide to do like you do with bonds and sell them in the secondary market. You go to Schwab. Schwab sells CDs. You can buy a CD from Schwab, secondary market. You're going to get less than your $100,000 because interest rates went up. You're going to get less than your $100,000. So the only things that don't go down in value are those things that are not sold into the secondary market, that are held to maturity and are full faith and credit.
You just mentioned, because you said you always get your money back from bonds. That's true, by the way, if it's been U.S. government bonds, but other bonds.
Right.
There's some great Argentinian bonds, some Enron bonds, et cetera. That
double or triple A plus or better corporate bonds. They don't default at that rating. Now, if an A falls down to a double B minus, well, then there could be some.
See General Motors, for example.
Yeah, there could be some defaults down there at that end of the spectrum, which is why our favorite bonds to own, because you can't lose on the face value, our government, U.S. not Ukrainian government, not Argentinian government,
war
US
bonds,
government securities.
No war bonds. Okay,
no war bonds.
No war bonds. A couple other.
Oh, should we mention I bonds?
Yeah. Okay. Just let me make a couple points, then you can do it, because this is a time, by the way, to consider I bonds due to the fact that you may be getting your tax return. God bless you. Mm-hmm. I'm happy that you get money back, and you can directly transfer.
Oh, you didn't detect any bitterness in that voice, did you?
Not any anger, any angst. A couple other points. Number one, as we've told you regularly, ignore short-term results. I mean, this is one quarter. And by the way, it's not the worst quarter ever for bonds, because our friend Paul Merriman looked into this. There's been worse quarters. Number two, a 60-40 portfolio, 60% of your money in stocks, 40% of your money in bonds. The bond part has not been paying very much lately, right? Right. As you point out. Now into the future, pretty soon, by the way, I think the 10-year treasury is already at 2.5 or something. That 40% is going to start giving you some interest here that it wasn't, because they're going to be, as you point out, buying those new bonds, right? So the longer term, we'll get back to a more, at least in the immediate future, more normal interest rate environment where the bonds will start to pay you more. That 40% will actually give you some money. So I think those are big takeaways. Yes, to the I bonds. I think the issuance in May is going to be at 9.5 or some ridiculous rate.
9.6.
9.6, pardon me.
Is what I heard.
And you can do it easily with your tax return.
That rate is only guaranteed for 6 months.
Yep. And you can only do $10,000 a person.
There are moves afoot to raise that to 100.
Oh, interesting.
There has been some legislation proposed to raise that to 100, but now it's 10 plus up to $5,000 of your tax refund. Now, that's per person.
I'll be honest with you. I know you love these things. I find them to be a bit of a gimmick due to the fact that, because people hear the 9.6 and think, I get 9.6 forever. No, you don't. Number two, it's only $10,000. No offense, $10,000 to many people is a lot of money, but it's not the big picture.
Okay. I don't have as much money as you do. So for me, 10,000 at 7.1, which was my last one.
Fair enough.
That's a pretty good rate.
Okay. Yeah.
Particularly considering I've got some money in shorter term savings vehicles that's earning a lot less than that. If I had another 10 grand I could throw in May, I'd be there, but I can't.
You'd do it. Okay.
Because I'm not going to get a tax refund either.
Yeah, my Axos Bank is now paying 0.75. So
that's good. Wow.
Yeah, that's
okay. So that's enough about human bondage.
I'm glad this is the video version. Oh, it is the video version.
It's the video version.
Don't look carefully behind me. Yeah,
I have to think of a clever name for this podcast. Did you like my my video my artwork for the one that we did on the 60-40 being dead?
Yes, I really like the hand coming out.
Yes, 60-40
yeah,
thing.
That was frightening.
By the way, all the artwork, I create all the artwork here in my little studio.
You create everything. All I do is get on and say a few words. The next thing I know, it's spilling out.
What's so funny? Before we get to the dang questions, what's so fun? I was listening to a local, it's like Florida Horizons from the Florida Public Radio Network. It's like. And they're horrible shows. They've got bad hosts, bad announcers, bad everything. And they were this is a once a week, 1 hour interview show where they interview people of little or no note. They're just like,
which apparently
who is this
you
person?
Have a lot of in Florida. So no, just kidding.
Oh, and these are even worse than they're the
standard
most boring interviews. But they're the local things. And I listened to the end of the program, and the credits. Our executive producer is, our editors are, our studio technician is, our floor director is. I'm going, You have like 18 people working on a 1-hour radio show? How many people work on this 5-day-a-week plus podcast?
I'm going to say it's 1.
Well, 2.
Well,
you're
okay.
Yeah,
Give myself
okay.
partial credit.
He doesn't count that as work. It's just kind of wandering in and going, hello, Don.
Not compared to the other stuff I got to deal with today. No,
Don.
it's not. It's not.
Yeah, that's true. This is the easy part of your day.
Indeed it is.
Whereas mine gets more complex from here as I have to take all of this and
turn it into
push
something.
Buttons. Turn it into something. And also we need to answer questions.
Please
and
hit me.
We're
How
still
far
in
back?
March.
Oh, God.
We're still in March. We need to do a whole nother show on just, we should do it this week. That's
Okay.
actually what we
All
should
right.
do. We should do it this week.
Let's
should
do
do
it.
another Q&A show.
Okay.
We'll just do it audio because it's boring to listen to us do Q&A. And here's just a short one for you.
Yeah.
You're going to love this one. You're going to love it. This comes from St. Louis. San Luis, Missouri.
The entry to the West.
Gateway to the West.
Gateway.
Gateway.
The Arch. Former home of the Rams. I mean, what am I missing here? I don't know. What?
Former home of Buckingham.
Yeah, we went there once in the summer. I would never go back there in the summer. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's miserable.
Oh, God.
Home, and when wait. It's also miserable in the winter.
Well, that's a good. So when is the good? Maybe this is the good time to go to St. Louis.
Spring. This is it. This is the only time to go.
Hurry to see.
All right, here it goes. I enjoy reading about the market and listening to podcasts such as yours. Do you recommend AAII or have any other resources you recommend?
Okay. You know
Do you
what?
want me to do it? Do you have the guts? Do you have the guts?
I'll give my opinion. You can give yours. No, there are some good things that come out of AAII. For example, our friend, colleague, partner, Paul Merriman wins the James Clunan Award for his education efforts, and those are widely distributed through AAII. So I like that work.
Okay. Yes.
The problem
Go ahead.
with
we were at the AAII
I
conference in Orlando, Florida a few years back.
I've spoken at the one in Portland, I've spoken at the one in Seattle, et cetera. Been around. The problem with the organization is that every month they're looking for the new idea that they can promote to the members. This is what it, and so people end up, I think, well, I'm going to do that. No, and then I'm going to do this. That sounds good. That's number one. That's my number one problem. Number two is now Don's going to explain how they make money, apparently, or what they promote that is really awful.
Yeah, and they're a nonprofit, and that's the thing. A nonprofit should truly, in my opinion, not strive to profit.
Something like that, yeah.
And part of the problem with some of the nonprofits is that they're top heavy. I don't know that that's the case, but AAII does sell newsletters, and excuse me, and these newsletters claim to have the ability to tell you which stocks to buy and which stocks you shouldn't buy. And these mailings really. I am an honorary lifelong member of AAII. I was conferred that by James Clunan many years ago when I did the Don McDonald show. But I just don't like what they stand for in so many ways, which is picking the hot stuff. The problem is giving you a resource, finding a decent resource is really, really hard to do because, we interviewed Knight Kiplinger many years ago on a show we did together called Sound Investing.
Yeah. And
we asked Knight the question about, he knows, he gets it, index investing. He says it makes more sense. But basically said, what would we do for a magazine if we didn't tout all this other stuff?
Right. Why would anyone buy the next week/month? And frankly, the advertising that AAII does for the newsletter, it's a little bit cheesecakey because they spend a lot of time on, if you had done this 20 years ago, you'd have, and I think it's.
Yeah, they claim that their model, they call it their model shadow stock portfolio. And what that means, shadow stocks, it just means little companies that no one pays much attention to. But here's the problem with shadow stocks or small companies that no one pays attention to. They have a very light float. Not a lot of shares trade day to day. So here's how these newsletters work. And this is the same with Motley Fool. This is the same. There's thousands of them. They base their track record on the second they publish. The second they hit send, that's when their recommendation is now public. So what happens is the first 15, 20, 30, 40 people who read that go in and they buy it. And that, because there's so little volume, causes the price to soar. So that anybody who read the thing the next day is going to get in at a much higher price and isn't going to have anywhere near the same kind of result. So their results are spurious. They claim that they beat the market 4-1 or some such silliness.
So to go back to the original question about sort of, okay, that's bad. Where do I learn? Here's the way I look at it. First of all, investing, you don't need the new idea every week, month, year. There's tons of new ideas. I think Gene Fama said this best once, that Wall Street comes up with blank number of new ideas every week.
One a week.
Yeah.
He goes, one a week.
He's come up with, 5 in his entire 60-year career, whatever. I think that's well said. But okay, you could read books and they're not hard books to read. Paul Merriman, Larry Swedroe, Mark Hebner, a few books like that. You can build a truly great, world-class portfolio. Jason Zweig. You can build a world-class portfolio, and then you don't need to attend the weekly or monthly meeting or whatever, pay attention to any of this nonsense, and you can go spend your life doing something that's far better, frankly. But people still think, and I think AAI plays into this, that investing is something where you need to pay attention. You need to know what the hot thing is. You need to know what Bill Gross is, whatever it is. And that is completely misplaced. That's the problem I have with them.
And that's I have a similar problem. Thank you all for being a part of our podcast, multicast, combo cast, video cast, cast of thousands, cast off, cast away.
Castor oil?
Castor oil, plaster cast. What else is there? Castigate.
Oh, there you go. That comes to mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Casting off.
Program cast. Okay, we're going to cast off. All right. Thank you all for being there. Tell your friends about what we do. If you get a chance, leave us a review on your favorite podcast service. Oh, and for all of you all over the world who would like to learn more about creating the finest retirement no money can buy, you can all attend Retire Meet for free, virtually. I mean, it's virtually free and freely virtual.
No sandwich, though, because we haven't figured out how to do that yet remotely.
No, you have to BYOS.
We could do the recipe and then say, go get these things and build your sandwich and have it ready for the
meat,
no idea.
Bread,
cheese,
chips. You're set. That's your lunch. There you go. Okay. But you can sign up for Retire Meet right now. Guess where? RetireMeet.com. Retire.
By the way.
And by the way, MEAT works. RetireMeetforasandwich.com.
And all joking aside, we're throwing a little something extra. Apollo Lupescu is going to talk about inflation, interest rates, and the current geopolitical situation and what that means to the future of investing.
Timely.
That's good, huh? Yeah. And he's a great speaker.
He's on top of things.
He is on top of, all kidding aside, he is on top of things. So, yeah, join us Saturday, May 14th, virtually.
He's really big hands because he's a water polo player. Really,
I don't want to get in the water with him. And if you're in the greater Seattle area, come and join us live in person at the main bar. It's going to be a great day.
But you still have to sign up at retiremeet.com.
Yes, sign up.
You have to.
Yeah.
Do that.
Please.
Do you want to add anything else, Tommy?
No.
Okay, you sure? Yeah. Thanks for being there. I'm done. That's Tom hanging out, watching planes fly overhead, and Talking Real Money.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for informational, educational, and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately and consistently predict the future, so past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Apella Capital, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.